Good morning, beautiful souls. No, good afternoon, beautiful souls. 10 minutes past. Welcome. I'm Tamara from Soul Blossom Intuitive Energy Healing. And I thought I'd just jump on for a bit of a chat today, and also to update you guys on where I'm at with my 100 Days of Happiness. I haven't posted for the last couple of days, but I have still been doing it. So I just wanted to give you guys an update with that as well. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about the Divine Feminine Unleashed. I know that there's not a lot of description in the post that I posted yesterday, day before. Don't know what day it is. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today as well. But this is an opportunity to have a chat. So if you've got any questions, if you've got anything that you'd like to know about, anything like that, please just pop it in the comments. I'm just going to share this and bring it up on my laptop here so I can see comments. So just give me a minute and then I will be fully present. Okay. Okay. All right, fully present. So let's start with the 100 Days of Happiness for the last 2 days, and I added today in there as well. For the last 2 days, I've been checking in at the end of the day just to see where I'm at and what's happened. I've had moments during the course of the day where I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Yesterday, for example, just listening to my daughters joke around and laugh with each other was really, really not beautiful. It was really beautiful, and it made me laugh as well. So that was for yesterday, and the day before, I can't actually even remember. I keep getting lots of amazing compliments about my hair, like random people coming out of nowhere, which has been brilliant. Hi, Ashley with an E. It's still morning where you are. It's just clicked over to the afternoon for us. Welcome. I'm just having a chat. So if you've got anything that you'd like to know about, if you've got any questions that you would like to ask, I'm just talking about my 100 Days of Happiness because I haven't posted for the last couple of days, even though I've been consciously being present with it, I guess, in my physical reality. Yes, I had somebody, I want to share this because it was completely changed my day. At the moment, I'm looking for a house to move into. I've got probably 7 weeks, maybe 7 weeks, until I have to be out of the house that I'm in. And where I live, there's just not a lot of options. Where I'm in the country and we're only a few hours from Adelaide. So a lot of people have migrated here from the city in the last 2 years. And because it's seaside, there's a lot of holiday homes. So people hire per night, right? So finding a rental property has been quite difficult. But I did put a call out, and I've had a few people respond, but I don't think anything's going to work just yet. It's just not the right house. That's what I keep telling myself. But I did have a woman who I'm friends with on Facebook. She used to work at the local supermarket. That's how I got to know her. And she messaged me privately and just let me know that if I don't find anything by the time that I move out, she's got 2 spare rooms at her house that we can use temporarily until we do find something. And I thought that was just makes me tear up just thinking about it. It was really heartwarming. Like I love seeing that. I love when people like the random acts of kindness. It's just what fills my heart really. So, I believe there's a house out there for me. I believe that it will become available. Thank you, Sons. I've been calling in the perfect house for months now. And, I've been wanting to move from this house since September, not last year, the year before. So nearly a year and a half. Because it's not in flow with who we are and where I'm headed. So it's quite small and it's quite dark and it's just doesn't have the energy of what I'm trying to create. So, so I've been wanting to move. I do also know that there's a lot of things in this house that I need to get rid of before I move into the next house. So that's what I'm concentrating on for the next few weeks, to just get rid of everything, like everything. I was just talking about this with my 15-year-old, like just selling all the things that we don't need, that we can replace if we want to. And there are things that I want to replace, like my couch and my dining room table, and a couple of the wardrobes and stuff that we have. And I don't know, there's stuff, just stuff that I want to replace anyway. So I'll figure if I sell it before I move, and even if we do find another house to move into and it takes us a little bit to find the new ones, it's still like less things that I need to move. And, I'm not dragging that old energy into my new space, because this new space, I want it to embody the energy of what I'm trying to create, or the life that I'm stepping into. So, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be perfectly honest. The roller coaster of head and heart. That's what I reckon. It's been, it's been the heart. I know the right house is waiting for me and it'll drop in when I'm ready for it, and it'll happen really quickly, and it'll come out of like the most unusual channel. That's what I felt right from the start, and that's what I feel when I'm in my heart. That's what I know to be true when I'm in my heart. But then when I get stuck in my head, I'm like, there's no houses available. This is the negative mindset. There's no houses available. How am I supposed to find somewhere for us to live? Am I going to be able to afford to move? Like, all the thoughts, all the things in my head. So when I get stuck in my head, I start freaking out, right? But when I drop into my heart, I know that it's all good. I know that it's already done, because that's what I'm creating. Like, it wouldn't have dropped in if it wasn't already done. Okay. So I'm ready for your house. I'm not quite, actually. I think that's what it is. I'm just not quite ready because I've got too much stuff. It's my stuff that's keeping me stuck. That's really interesting. That's actually really interesting. I'm going to have to ponder on that one, I think. So, beautiful Sons, how are you going? I can see that you're here. I think Ashley might have ducked off. I'm going to spend a minute just talking about the Divine Feminine Unleashed, because I'm actually really excited that this has come through for me to share with you guys. It's kind of a collection of all the things that I've learned along the way, that I personally know that I need to implement more of in my life in order to get to reconnect myself to my divine feminine self. And I get to bring it all together and then present it to you guys and walk the path with you guys as well. So it's like plugging ourselves back in, really. So the general idea behind it is, so as women and as mothers, we tend to have this role, these roles, I guess, that we play. And I know for myself, it was about, not feeling like I was lovable. So I would change my mask for whoever I was with so that I could be who they needed me to be in order to receive love for them, because that's what I thought I needed to do to receive love, because I was looking for love outside of myself. So I wore all these different masks for all the different people. There was mum, there was partner, there was sister, there was daughter, there was co-worker, friend, like all these different masks for all the different people, so that I could be liked and loved by the people around me. But in doing that, every time I put a mask on, I was covering up myself. I was covering up more and more of myself, until, I'd shoved all of myself. Every time I bit my tongue, every time I swallowed my truth, every time I said yes when I wanted to say no, all of these things, they compound, and you kind of get to a point where you've got all these layers of masks, but your soul feels heavy. Your soul feels heavy because you're not living in your authentic truth. Like you're doing everything for everyone else, and what you want and what you need seems to be the last thing that gets attention. And for a lot of us, that what we want and who we are, we don't even know. We kind of get to the point where we just don't know who we are anymore. I know when I stepped out of my 13-year codependent relationship, that was 3 years ago, and the last 3 years have really been about uncovering the truth of who I am, removing the limiting beliefs that I'd been taught, I guess, that I'd learnt over the years, about my lack of self-worth, and that it just wasn't enough. And that's not that these beliefs started when I was a child, and even the people-pleasing patterns started when I was a child, because I knew that when I got attention was when I was doing other things for other people, and that's how I received love. That started from a really young age for me. So where was I going with that? I was going to keep talking because I lost track of where I was going with that. So we have these limiting beliefs, right? That we're not enough, that we should be thinner, that we should be funnier, that we should be smarter, that we, big one for me was, I won't be liked. I won't be liked if I'm myself. So I hid a lot of my truth. The last couple of years have been huge for me. And if you'd told the woman I was 2 years ago that I'd be live streaming and talking about this stuff now, I would have laughed at you, right? Because I held my cards pretty close to my chest, because I feared the judgment, and I feared the repercussions of upsetting people. All right, I feared losing people. 100% relatable, Tammy. Yes. We've walked a very similar path, you and I, Sons. So yeah, I feared losing people. And in feeding that fear, I got to a point where, actually, I realized that, especially after the separation of my 13-year relationship, I realized that I'd lost so much of myself. Not lost like it's gone, but just covered up. Like I had no idea. I'd given so much of myself away to everyone all the time that I didn't know what it was like to fill my own cup. So keep losing where I'm at. That's not good. But at the moment, I've got no idea what day it is. So it's all relative, I think. So I stepped out of that relationship, and I've been on that path of rediscovering myself. Doing courses here and there. I've done light language with people. I've had light language sessions with people. I've done a lot of inner child work. I've done a lot of past life work, lots of wound healing. I did yoga for a little while. And I think, so tapping has been the one constant for me. I don't use it enough. There we go. Yet. Tapping is the one constant. It's been with me since the start of my journey back to myself. And it's helped me through some pretty hugely emotional times. So there will be a lot of tapping, because it essentially, what it does is it removes the emotional charge from a situation. So let me give you an example. This morning, my current landlord rang, and she said to me, I said to her, look, I know that you want to be out by the 28th of February, but I also know you gave me till the end of March, and it's looking like it's probably going to be the end of March. And she was quite stern and rude, to be perfectly honest, which piqued my anxiety. Okay. So she was like, well, that's fine, but you need to be done and dusted out on the 28th of March. All right. So that piqued my anxiety, even though, I want to move. I really desperately want to move. And I know the right house is out there for me. And all these things, like I know everything will come together when it's time. But it piqued that for me. So I sat with it, with all of the feelings, and it was more like the frustration. So she was a single mum herself of 3 daughters. And so she knows what it's like. And I think the thing that upset me the most was the simple fact that she is willing to, I know this sounds terrible, and I'm sure it's not her truth, all right, but this is what I heard, that she would kick a single mum and her kids out, if it got to that point, and I couldn't find a house. Like, it upset that she couldn't relate. It upset me more that she couldn't relate to that, and she had no compassion about it. I think that's what it was. And I've been here for 2.5 years, and I've been an exceptional tenant. So, yes. So I tapped on that. That's my point. I was going somewhere with that. I did tap on that this morning, just to bring down that peak, because it was the emotional stuff that was driving my my thoughts. Right, it was like the peak of, oh my God, what's going to happen? All the things, right? And the grief and the anger and all the things. So yeah, I tapped on that this morning, just a couple of rounds to bring down that anxiety. And after a couple of rounds, I was like, right, this is why this conversation happened today, because my landlady's friend and my landlady's daughter is one of my best friends, right? And she'd said to me, my friend had said to me, my mum's not going to kick you out. If it comes to the crunch time, she's not going to kick you out. So I had that in the back of my head. I've had that in the back of my head for the last couple of months. And I think this morning was just that little kick up the butt for me to not get complacent, right? To not get complacent and to fall into that, that belief that it'll be all right if I don't find a place, because, I don't have to move out of here, even though I really desperately want to. So the tapping brought me back into that heart space. It took me out of my head. It released the emotional charge behind it, and allowed me to to get back into my old mindset of the house is going to show up when we need it. This is and if anything, I've kind of gone, okay, this morning was when I decided I'm just going to sell everything, right? Not everything, but I'm going to clear everything out. Sell all the things that I don't want to move. Whereas before I would have taken the couch with me, and I would have taken the desk with me, and I would have taken the crusty dining table with me, and all the things. So, life happens for us, not to us. So that was why it happened for me this morning. But I needed to do that couple of rounds of tapping to get me out of my head and out of that emotional charge and out of that all the feelings that were coming up. And I'm not saying that you don't feel your feelings, because part of tapping is you feel your feelings, right? You've got to actually immerse yourself into it so that you can get the energy to move, to release it, basically. So my point is, my point is that tapping is probably going to be a big part of the Divine Feminine Unleashed. Essentially what it is, it's cracking open our masculine shells. So we've learnt to be safe. In order for us to be safe, it's easier to control things, right? Or to try and control our universe, which closes down our feminine. It keeps us stuck in that, it's like a heightened stress state even. So your nervous system is always on fire. It's always on when we're in that stress state, when we're trying to control and organize and do all the things that we do as mums, you know, generally as women, trying to be everything for everybody, right? So we form this masculine shell around ourselves that keeps us safe, right? But it also closes down everything else. So we're not open to receiving. It closes down our creativity, because that's a feminine, that's a feminine thing as well. So the Divine Feminine Unleashed is basically about cracking open our masculine shell. It's about cracking open the masculine shell. It's about understanding the Divine Feminine within our lives and within ourselves. So, you know, how the feminine was represented to you growing up. And it's the same with the masculine. We're going to do some work on both as well. So how the feminine was represented to you growing up, how the masculine was represented to you growing up, how you embody that in your life right now, or have been embodying those energies in your life now, and then what you want it to look like in the future. So what are we going to call in? And we'll be tapping on stuff, because I'm sure stuff will come up. There's going to be a lot of limiting beliefs that we're going to have to work our way through. So it's really a journey back to understanding yourself. It's really a journey back to understanding how you got to be where you are, what's working, what's not working, and then what you want to create, what you want to create for yourself. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some past life, ancestral healing, reconnection stuff going on as well. That's being called. I'm being called to present something along the lines. I'm not sure what that looks like yet, so that'll be interesting when it comes through. I think there's a lot of witch hunt energy that needs to be dispersed for a lot of us women, and you know, one of the biggest parts of my journey has been about understanding my ancestral patterns, my ancestral karma, what's been passed down along the line, how it's been presented in my life. So the codependence is something that that's played out in my family line for quite some time. So for generations, right? And I look around at you know, some of my cousins and my aunts and even my grandparents and you know, all of those, all the things. I look around and I see it everywhere, right? And so I come from a long line of healers, but it's been shut down for at least 7 generations. And it started with me in the witch hunts. It started with me in a past life in the witch hunts in the 1600s. Excuse me. So I've had to walk the path to heal that as well, right? It's all part of the re-emergence of self. So I'm not entirely sure what that looks like yet. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to be very powerful. So the doors are open for Divine Feminine Unleashed now. It's a 4-week course. It's 222 Australian dollars. There will be lots of support, lots of interaction, private Facebook group, and what comes out of this course will be made into what comes out of this live course will be made into an actual course. So you'll get lifetime access to that once it's produced and ready to go. So and you have lifetime access to the Facebook group. So every time we run another round of the Divine Feminine Unleashed live, you'll be part of it as well. So I'm really excited. One of the things that I'm the most passionate about is helping women, take off their masks and learning to say no and to be unapologetic. I don't know how many people I come across, how many women especially that I come across that say sorry for being themselves. They'll say something and then say sorry, and I'm like, dude, what are you apologizing for, right? It's one of those things that I'm like, I can't help myself. You don't need to apologize for being yourself, right? You don't need to apologize for having a voice. You don't need to say sorry because you feel like you're making somebody else feel uncomfortable. It's really just about, being comfortable, not even comfortable, because there's nothing in life that's really comfortable. And some of the biggest changes come in being uncomfortable, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So yeah, one of the things that I am the most passionate about is seeing women emerge into themselves, and supporting women to emerge into being themselves, to not be not apologizing. So how sometimes people, you say no, but then you give an excuse why not, right? Someone asks you to do something and then you go, oh no, I can't because I've got such and such and such and such. There's real power in just saying no, sorry, I can't, full stop. Right? You don't need to make excuses for who you are. You don't need to make excuses for what it is that you want, or what feels right for you. So I'm very excited. The tapping has been just over the last week. I've been like, oh, I'll probably be doing some tapping with it. But this morning I was like, it's how we're going to get stuff to shift. It's how we're going to get it to shift, right? So expect lots of journaling prompts. I'm big on journaling. Just because I know how powerful it is. I want to do some moon cycle tracking as well, like tracking your cycle with the moon cycle, and where you're at during the month with that as well. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a full moon ceremony. I've never done one before, but I've attended lots, so we'll see. That's all intuitive as well. So yes, we start on the 28th of February, and it's a 4-week course. So and there'll be more information coming out about that over time as well. If you would like more information, please send me a private message. If you'd like to book in and be a part of the circle, because that's what it is, Circle of Women Supporting Women, which also lights me up too. We are excruciatingly powerful beings. Not putting men down. This is not I hate men. It's not about that at all. But women are powerful. Women are powerful, and that's why the divine feminine has been suppressed for eons, right? So when women support each other, when women support women, when women encourage women, the world's going to change, right? You're going to do miraculous things. yes, I think I'm going to leave that there, actually. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about today, Swans? Because it sounds like I'm in the mood for a good chat today, actually. So excited. You know how you know you're supposed to do something, but you kind of go, I'll do that later. It's no discipline. I'm not very great with discipline, but that's what I teach myself. So having to show up for you guys for 4 weeks means that I will be showing up for myself for 4 weeks, instilling those rituals and practices on a daily basis. See, something just shifted then. On a daily basis, that's going to, you know, help us all move forward, help us all come back to ourselves and all move forward. So, okay, I think I'm going to leave that there. So thank you all so much for listening today. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will get back onto my actually posting my 100 days of happiness, so that you guys can all keep up with it as well. But just know that I'm still present, still with it. I can still see you guys, all the ones that are joining in. I love seeing the comments by others on their posts about how you know, they look forward to seeing what their next day post is going to be every day. Like, it brings other people joy seeing their posts come up. So which was the intention. So next time we run it, there'll be more people, there'll be more of us joining in. Son says, I will definitely be interested in joining and will send a message. Thanks for sharing. Thank you so much. Very excited. Very excited. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for being with me today. And if you're watching the replay, just pop a hashtag replay so that I know that you're here. And I will see you all again really, really soon. Big love to you.